What's going on? Welcome back to Dealing with the Devils. It's Jack with JD, and Grayson Allen just put on one heck of a show. That was spectacular. What do you think, JD?
I'm speechless.
Yeah, clearly you got it out fast.
Greatest shooting performances on a big stage. Number one versus number two. You got Grayson. He's got to come back. The boos were starting. He had 2 quick home games. He looked good. I never expected this.
Yeah, the guy hit 7 3-pointers, and then he also got fouled twice and was 3 for 3 from the free throw line both times. So in reality, he probably had 9 3-pointers in effect there on the night. 37 points, and really just carried the Blue Devils along with Trayvon Duval, essentially after Marvin Bagley went out.
And I think he actually did play all 40 minutes. So, 37 points, it's almost a point a minute college basketball against, if the first 2 Duke games were against teams that, were tune-ups, this was against arguably really the number 1 team in the country, and he came up big.
Yeah, he hit some shots tonight. Okay, let's talk about some of these shots. So, some of the threes he hit tonight, the 3 at the end of the first half definitely comes to mind, where he was well beyond NBA 3-point range. And Duval had kind of fumbled the ball at that point, and he just shoveled it back to him. And then Grayson was like, "Oh, this is great," and he fired that one up and nailed it. Then there was the one in the corner there that he hit as well. That was insane. He just hit a number of shots tonight that were just spectacular in this game.
Over and over. He started maybe a little slow, or, as you pointed out earlier when we were, texting each other, there is a chance that it was one of the quietest 16 points.
Yeah, he had 14.
Half,
14 points in the first half, and I outside of the free throws that he hit after getting fouled, I couldn't really remember much besides the closing 3-pointer at the end of the half there.
So he had 14 in the first half, finishes with 37, 23 points. They lose their big man. This is pressure in terms of 1 versus 2, and the guy just played the way that we thought he should have played last season, but this is a really good sign for Duke.
Right, and in this 88-81 win over number 2 Michigan State, a game that I thought Michigan State would win going into the game, just being honest with you guys here, just because of their experience. But the thing that jumped out to me was in the beginning of this game, Michigan State was playing lights out on the defensive end. It seemed like Jaren Jackson and Miles Bridges had 10 blocks in the first 4 minutes of this game, and Bridges was just everywhere, blocking jump shots out there. But the Blue Devils were only down by 2 points. It was like 12-10, even after this great start by Michigan State, and that let me know that they were going to be just fine in this basketball game, because the way that game had started, it could have easily been a 10-point lead for Michigan State, but the fact that they were down by just 2 points was remarkable to me. But, go ahead, JD.
Michigan State couldn't buy a basket in the beginning, so that first half was a game of runs. And I think we finished the first half with maybe a 3-point lead or 4-point lead tops, but it was a game of runs. It went back and forth. Then Michigan State went on that 9-0, 3-pointers in a row, and we had a ball game. And without Bagley coming back in, you had to wonder whether Duke was going to be able to sustain the more experienced team. In this day and age, you got to consider a team of all sophomores a more experienced team, and yet they were just tremendous. We got to talk about Trey Duval.
Yeah, that's where I was going. That's exactly where I was going next. That line tonight, 17 points, 10 assists again. That's 30 assists on the season. For a guy who can't shoot, I was thinking to myself, if he could shoot, would he be the number 1 player in this class? Like, he has that much of an impact on the game already. and he can't shoot, like, at all. He shot one. He had an air ball tonight, and you know, I hope he gets it there because he's clearly working at it. He's taking them in the rhythm of the game, so he's not forcing anything.
Allen Iverson. It's like that intensity that he has to get to the basket. He's only a freshman. Let's see if his shot matures, but Iverson comes to mind.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it will over time. His ability to get to the basket, as you said, the explosiveness and the poise that he plays with, he just allows everyone else also to get into their spots. And the fact that he kept up his performances in those two previous games and had another 10 assist performance. But his performance on the defensive end was just spectacular in that 2-3 zone where he was able to really utilize his speed and length. And he had 6 steals. It says it right there in the box score. But he had a number of deflections. He was all over the court. And I know 3 turnovers may seem like a lot. One was, you know, a little bit bad at the end of the game there where he forced it inside where he should have just kept it out and kind of dribbled the ball out. But really, the other 2 weren't bad, and honestly, he did a great job managing the ball all game. The Blue Devils only had 9 turnovers as a team, and, you know, for a freshman group in this big of a game, that's a great number.
It was a very interesting move for Coach K to stay in the 2-3 the entire game. You know, we were always surprised when he would go to the 2-3, and he would do it selectively. But tonight, with a group of freshmen, very smart idea to keep them in a 2-3. They knew their place on the court. It was a very smart move.
Right. And speaking of the freshmen, he went to 10 guys tonight. Now, part of that is because he was forced to, because Bagley got hurt. But part of that, I think, is he's trusting a lot of these young freshmen. And one guy I want to point out is Jordan Goldwire, who I thought when him and Javin DeLaurier came into the game, just before Bagley got hurt, they really started to pick up their defensive intensity. They were getting deflections and being able to get runouts, and they started to build a little bit of a lead there. And Goldwire finally got his shot to go down tonight. He had a few things go right, where in the first couple of games it seemed like everything was going wrong for him, but he was in the right areas. And the same thing happened tonight, just his shot went down.
So let's go the other way, though.
Yep.
Frank had a nice inside shot and a couple of nice rebounds. Marcus Bolden was okay. I'm not going to get carried away, but didn't really hurt us. Occasionally does have that kind of deer in the headlight look and, you know, commits fouls where his feet aren't moving as well as he should. And then Javin DeLaurier. We've been wanting to see him, and we get a chance to see him. He had that one time where he went in there and he tried so hard to, you know, slam it down. And
the putback slam, yeah.
It's a great play.
Yeah, it's almost like he's just a little bit off in some of the instances where if his like hand-eye coordination was a little bit better, he could finish or catch the ball or whatever the occasion is. And I think that's going to come with time. And, you know, speaking of these guys who we've mentioned, they're all going to be back next season, most likely. And so just being a Blue Devil fan, knowing that kind of depth is going to be back next year is very exciting for me. Go ahead, JD.
There's no question about it. I mean, we already know we have probably the first to second best class coming in 2018. And as you point out, Jack, that we've got a bench to join that group. Not only do we appear to be in good shape for this year, we're also in great shape for next year.
Absolutely. So this was a fantastic win for the team. I know the 2 guys we didn't talk about really that I'm looking at it right now are Gary Trent Jr. and Wendell Carter Jr. The 2 guys that you can't seem to figure out who they are, JD.
Yeah, it's a problem because they look completely different, but I do screw up the names.
They are both juniors. I'll give it to you. They're the only juniors, as far as I know, on the team. And Wendell had a he had a much better game than Gary, who got off to a good start but then kind of faded late, couldn't get the shot to go down.
I think Wendell's presence down low, especially with Bagley out, was critical to the win, and so we really shouldn't take anything away from Wendell. On the other hand, Gary Trent, I guess it's one of those nights where the team is carried from the outside by Grayson, and Gary Trent didn't get a chance to shine here, or didn't really get into his rhythm. Not certain which way it is, but when one of the other guys is just absolutely explosive, you want to get him the ball.
True. That's a great point there, JD. And a great win by the Blue Devils. As I said earlier, 88-81. Moving into the next game here, guys. It's gonna be against Southern on Friday. JD, give me one thought for this game against Southern.
Well, the obvious one is the letdown. I mean, I don't think we're going to lose, but you had to be riding so high on this, and then you got to play against Southern, and it's not that we're going to lose, but I see it as like a 10-point, 15-point win and not an explosive blowout. Although, you never know with Coach K. His ability to get him ready is second to none.
Yeah, I see this as a 20, 25-point win for the Blue Devils. I think they're going to take this win and use it as momentum. The fact that they played so well without Bagley was very impressive to me. And, Delorier used, I guess, the opportunity he created himself accidentally to really, showcase his abilities on both ends of the court. And I think the Blue Devils are going to roll into this game and really put on a good show, win by about 20-25 points, and finish out the week 4-0 with, really reassuring people they are the number one team in the country.
Well, Jack, I think that's it. So I'm JD. That's Dealing with the Devils.